So hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming, here with another Call of the Wild the Angler video. Now before we start this video, I have to say a huge thank you to EW once again for allowing me to take part in the early access for the Angler, and this video was recorded during the early access period. Now, as you guys will have already seen from the title and the thumbnail, this video is a pretty special one to me, as it's actually the story of my first diamond fish here in the Angler. And honestly, I didn't expect to catch diamond fish as quickly as I did, because I'll be honest with you guys, and this is something that's probably going to be quite evident from my videos on this game, I don't know a whole lot about fishing. I absolutely love watching fishing TV programs, watching people play fishing games, and you know, I've looked at fishing games myself but never really been completely captivated to keep playing them and really learn the ins and outs and the mechanics. So this was a real change of pace for me, and I was kind of thrown in at the deep end in some respects with this game, because I really didn't know what I was doing half the time. I was just kind of experimenting and trying to work things out. And I mentioned in another video, we only had about 4 days worth of this early access before the embargo lifted, and I was desperately trying to work out how to catch fish and what I was supposed to actually do. Now there are tutorials that, you know, you can do at the very start of the game that give you a bit of an idea, but actually getting out into the game and learning it and learning how to actually do things out in, I was going to say in the real world, but in the more expansive world, is a bit different. And actually learning all of that was a bit of a challenge for me, and it's something that I'm quite proud that I've managed to actually learn a bit so far, and then to actually progress and to catch a diamond fish. I feel like I've made some significant progress since I actually picked this game up, and I'm really quite proud of that. Now, you will have seen that I caught a little bass, and I noticed as I was actually reeling in that I could see a pretty big fish just hanging out in the water, and I thought that looked like a big rainbow trout, and I was like, I want to stay here until I catch that. So I ended up catching another smallmouth bass, but I was like, that's not what I'm after. I want that big rainbow. I don't know how big it is, but I'd like to catch it. Now at this point I had upgraded my gear a little bit. It was, you know, I've got an actual decent rod. I think this was the best spinning rod that you could actually buy, the most expensive one at least. And yeah, I was feeling pretty good now about the equipment I actually had, because previously I was just having fish snap my line all the time, and so I saved up some money from leveling up and from catching fish, and then put it into buying a better rod, better reel, and a better line, and it really paid off in this circumstance. Now, I have to admit, I found choosing what kind of setup to use quite confusing, and I have to give a big shout out to Flinter for actually helping me out here and recommending that I just do spinning, where it's just a constant thing and I should be able to catch fish that way, and it was a perfect way for me to just really get started in this game and really start to learn it a lot better. So yeah, just a huge shout out to you, Flinter, for that. That was really helpful, and in the end it did lead to me catching my first diamond, so that was pretty cool. It's been a fun time trying to work all this stuff out, and yeah, I had no idea what I was supposed to really use at the start, so having that bit of advice was super helpful, and this setup has served me so incredibly well for several days of just catching fish. I've caught several big fish on this, only the one diamond, but you know, a few decent sized golds. And yeah, it's been really fun, and I found that this was a good setup to just get me started in the game. Now, you're going to see me experience a couple of bugs here in a row. So as you will have seen, I got the strike notification there for the fish, and I was actually clicking the button on the controller to strike, and unfortunately sometimes it just basically doesn't register, and then I had to try and wait for it to strike again, and then it did register. Now, I've been told that that's a bug, so a little bit unfortunate, but at least I did manage to get it on the second attempt. And you will have seen that also, after catching that fish, my camera was basically like inside my character's jacket. It looked like I was like sort of inside my jacket basically. That's another bug that I've been experiencing. I hope that one will get fixed. It normally sorts itself out after casting again, but I would like to see that one hopefully get fixed really soon. Now, once I actually casted there, I saw the big rainbow trout actually come up to the surface again, and I was really hoping that this would be the time that I'd actually catch him. And there I got the strike, and there he is finally on the line. Oh my gosh, I was so excited that I finally had actually hooked this fish. I was so worried about getting the bug where I go to strike and it doesn't actually strike. The weird thing about that bug as well is that even though it hasn't actually sort of hooked the fish, you'll still be able to reel it in, but once it gets to the boat, it just won't actually catch it. It's very odd. But this actually successfully hooked this fish, and then I got to have a really, really cool fight with this huge rainbow trout. And you'll see that I actually put my line tension up to 90%, which I thought would just snap my line. You know, because you don't want your line tension to be too high, otherwise it's just going to snap. But I was keeping an eye on the meter there in the bottom right hand corner, and once it goes all the way around that circle, that's when it's, you know, likely to snap, and it was only going about halfway round, as you guys can see. So I thought, okay, I must be okay. And I was just watching this fish, and he was trying to get away. You would have seen at the very start, after hooking him, that he was taking line out, and that's why I put that tension up, just to stop him taking so much line. And I felt here that I was making some kind of progress, because he wasn't taking any more line and just running away with it like I had with other fish when I had been trying to catch them previously. When I hadn't upgraded my setup, I would have this quite a lot with fish. I'd get them just taking line, and then I'd get them to stop taking line for a minute, and then they'd take more line and take more line and take more line until they were gone. And I saw that he wasn't taking more line, and at this point I felt like I was maybe gaining a little bit back. And I was like, okay, maybe I actually have a legitimate chance at catching this big fish. And you can see how much my rod is actually bending. It was really actually insane. And I play on a controller, and it was interesting because you'll feel when you're reeling something in. And I could like feel the resistance from this fish. I thought that was really cool. Like, you'd get when it would just stop actually reeling in, and it was just like really trying to fight this guy. And I even start there trying to actually pump the line, and that's, I was trying to win line back, trying to get this guy closer. And I found that actually using the pumping technique was very useful to actually get this guy coming back a little bit. So you can see we've gone from 26 meters now down to 22.8. And I was like, okay, I can win this as long as I just keep an eye on everything, keep an eye on the line tension, keep an eye on where the fish is, and just keep an eye on everything. I feel like I can win this. And it, like I said, it really paid off having this really, really strong rod at this point. Because I feel like if I had still had one of the weaker rods, I very well could have lost this fish. Because of having so much tension and everything on the line. It was actually crazy. And it was just really, really fun. That's something that I have to really hand to this game. There's been a lot of things that I've thought really need improvement, that could be done better maybe, but the actual fishing I find really, really fun and really engaging. And at the end of the day, it is a fishing game, so that's the most important aspect. Now, in future videos I'll talk about other things that I think need improvement, but I wanted to start off by really highlighting my favourite part, which is the fishing. You know, there's other aspects to this game, like the driving that I'd like to talk about later on, some stuff to do with the NPCs and the amount of dialogue they have. There's a few things I'd like to talk about in future videos, but this was what basically sold me on the game as a fishing game, and it's something I'm going to want to play and try and catch all the diamonds on this reserve. I can see an absolute ton of potential for this game. Like I said, there are things that need work and improvement that we're going to discuss in videos coming up in the next few days over the remainder of the early access. But it was important to me to start off by highlighting the main aspect to me that is really, really positive, which is actually fighting fish like this. I mean, having him jump out of the water there right in front of me, it was so cool, and I knew that this was a seriously big fish, seeing him right there, and finally managed to land him. Diamond rainbow trout. What a beast of a fish. What a beast. Now you can see the equipment there as well that you've used. You can see the weight, the length, the temperature, your bait. You can see the traits of the fish. It's just brilliant. I really like the ranking system. Now, I know that that's a very, very controversial topic. I know that some people absolutely hate that we're catching diamond fish, where there's other people that actually enjoy it. Now, I have to say, for someone like me, who doesn't know a whole lot about fish, you could tell me that, you know, this fish weighs so much and is so long, and I'd be like, okay, this looks like a pretty big rainbow, but I wouldn't know for sure. If you don't have a lot of experience with fish, it's like, what actually constitutes a trophy fish? Now, having that little thing that just tells you that this is a diamond ranked fish gives you that indication that this is a serious trophy fish that you've actually managed to land. And I think for people like me that are a little bit more unexperienced than others, I think that that's a really, really useful thing. Honestly, I really do. And I don't think it interferes with anything. You still have your fish score, your fish length, your fish weight. So, honestly, I just think it's a nice little indication, like I said, for people like me who may not know what constitutes a big fish of that species. But this is a chunky rainbow. Chunky rainbow. What a beauty. And rainbow trout are something I'm very familiar with, actually, in the UK. I've seen a lot of these guys in real life. That I really, really like rainbow trout. They're just a cool species. And I knew that this one was big. Like, based off of everything I'd seen in real life, I knew that this was a big fish. But for some of the other species, you know, that I'm not familiar with, especially some of the American species, like the bass and stuff, I wouldn't necessarily know what constituted, like, a big bass. So that's going to be really useful for me to know when I actually catch one, hopefully, if it is a diamond, then I'll know that I've actually caught a really special one. Now, that is, so far, the only diamond fish I've actually caught. And I think that that's pretty fitting for it to actually be a species that we do actually have here in the UK, one that I've actually seen. And I think that just worked out pretty well versus, you know, if I caught one of the American species that I'm less familiar with. Just something so close to home, I think that also helped to just really hook me on the game. And yeah, I've been having a really fantastic time, and I hope to try and catch some more diamonds over the rest of this early access period, and hopefully show off some more of what the really, really big ones look like for these various species. I'm definitely going after pike, because I like pike. We have those over here in the UK as well. Again, a really cool fish species that I've seen plenty of in real life. I've seen some big ones out in the wild. So yeah, that would be really cool if I can catch a diamond pike as well. So that's definitely going to be a goal, but I want to try and catch diamonds of all of them, because I think all the models look really, really awesome. And yeah, I think it's really cool. Now, you will have seen that you can do like a trophy shot of your fish, which I think is nice. However, I think it would be even better if you can actually rotate, zoom in, zoom out, change the lighting, etc. I think that there could be some improvements over that if we're only going to have trophy shots for the fish, which I can understand they're wanting to go down the ethical catch and release route, but if they want to stick with that, I think we need better trophy shots overall. They're okay as they are, but you know, they could be significantly improved in my opinion, and I still would like to see trophy lodges in the end for this game as well. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. A really special one for me. Like I said, I was very, very happy that I learned as much as I did, and I felt like I really made some progress, which was a nice feeling to think, to start off with basically no idea what I'm doing, and then progress a little bit, get some help, get some tips, and then eventually end up catching a diamond. I was really, really happy with that, and yeah, pretty proud of my progress so far. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all your support as always. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.